Why do you look so angry?
I'm not angry.
No, but I see you all the time, and I'm just saying, like, throughout this whole time, you've been looking real angry.
What exactly is it about Chidi's sister giving up her bed for Renee, taking the time to cook Nigerian food for her, and constantly calling her sweetheart that makes Renee think that she hates her? No, Renee, she's not angry. You are. And she seems to be taking out her frustration on literally everyone.
Shut up, I'm trying to be nice to you. Hey! I'm not gonna come to your beliefs because I'm far beyond your little beliefs. I'm on a different spiritual plane.
If Renee thinks that it's okay to talk to Chidi like this in public, God knows what she's like behind closed doors. But before we get to that, let's rewind to the start. So the last we saw the pair, Chidi revealed that while he thought that his blindness may have been caused by an apple falling on his eye, he also happened to have glaucoma. And when we join them in this episode, Renee's taking Chidi to visit an eye doctor. Now, it's been about 10 years since he last had his eyes checked, and they both seem to be hoping that maybe there's been some medical advancements in that time. Maybe Chidi's blindness might be curable.
Even though I'm attracted to him so much because he can't see, if I could help him, I would honestly help him restore his eyesight. That's how much I love him.
Does Renee have no filter whatsoever? Like, can she hear herself as she says this out loud? Hoping your partner can see again, right? Helping him to restore his eyesight isn't a barometer or proof of how much you love him.
I would honestly help him restore his eyesight. That's how much I love him.
We don't know Chidi, right? None of us watching the show love him, and yet I'm sure we all want him to see again. That's just called having a heart, having a conscience. It doesn't somehow prove that you guys are soulmates. And as the doctor examines Chidi's eyes, he's completely unresponsive to the light, which isn't exactly a good sign.
There's no light perception. When there's no light perception, it means that the nerves are not active and the nerves doesn't regrow.
The doctor tells Chidi that the pressure in his eyes is huge. In fact, it's 5 to 6 times higher than she'd expect to see. Now, she goes on to say that the chances of him ever seeing again are very, very slim. But it's a good thing that they came today, because the pressure in his eyes is so high that unless he gets medicated immediately, he might lose his eyes. They might end up having to take them out. Now, the thing is, Renee can't seem to read the room. That's quite shocking news, right? Chidi is pretty taken aback by this. And yet, look at Renee. Her reaction, her mood, just isn't what you'd expect given the news that they've just received.
So you'll never be able to see again? This life could be just as bright with me in it.
Word of advice, Renee. Maybe leave the compliments to Chidi. That's not the kind of thing that you just casually say about yourself. But then again, this is the same lady who told him God made him blind so that they could be together. Yeah, Renee definitely has a high opinion about her own importance. And that again becomes apparent the next night. You see, Chidi's sister has decided to cook a Nigerian feast for them all. She's been slaving away in the kitchen all day. But regardless of how much effort she's put in, regardless of how nice she's trying to be towards Renee, Renee just point blank, flat out doesn't like her. So why? What is it that she has against this lady?
Honestly, since that first day at the market, I've been getting some weird vibes off Victoria. It's kind of like a real dark energy that vibrates throughout my body.
I feel annoyed on behalf of Chidi's family. They've opened up their home to this foreigner. They've cooked for her. They've tried to be nice to her. But all they've got back in return is a bad attitude. Now, maybe Victoria has been a bit off since the market, right? But if she has, and by the way, we've seen no real evidence of it, but if she has, then that's only because Renee's behaviour at the market was completely out of line. She was the one that was disrespectful. But after some small talk, Victoria asks Renee about how much she's told her family back home about Chidi. What do you say to your kids about him, for example, she asks.
I tell him that I feel like we're soulmates, that he feels me in his heart, his mind, his body. Just so deep and spiritual.
How do you mean, dear?
What is Renee talking about? I'm as confused as Victoria is. Like, constantly repeating that you're soulmates doesn't make it true. From what we've seen of these two, sorry, I'm gonna say it, I don't really know what they have in common. Now, maybe it's because Victoria's confused, or maybe it's from the tone of her answer, but she now wonders whether something physical has happened between Chidi and Renee.
Not something that happened physically between two of you.
I can't believe that she even asked me if Chidi and I were physical at the dinner table in front of family.
Did Victoria need to pry like that? No, she didn't. Is it really any of her business if her brother and his girlfriend have been physical or had sex? No, but, and it is a big but, is what she just asked enough of a reason for Renee's entire mood to now sour? For Renee, in fact, to now begin attacking Victoria? And the answer to that is no, that isn't justified either. Look, the truth is, Victoria already has her walls up around Renee. Why? Well, because of her unpredictable temper. But the problem is, that's now about to get a whole lot worse.
Why do you look so angry?
I'm not angry.
No, but I see you all the time, and I'm just saying, like, throughout this whole time, you've been looking real angry.
Yeah, Victoria does look a little angry now. But then again, who wouldn't be? She's being called out, attacked in her own home after cooking this meal for them all. That's gratitude for you, right? Like, there's something about Renee that makes her personality quite difficult to get along with. She's admitted it herself, right? Her best friends are her chickens, she's told us. So it's not really a surprise that all of this comes as a bit of a red flag for Chidi's family. They're just looking out for Chidi, right? They know his religious devotion. They know his intention is to be celibate. They just want to make sure that she's respecting his choices. And more than that, they want to be sure that if these two do one day get married, Renee is capable of taking care of Chidi. Because right now, they're not convinced. But the fact that Renee is now acting holier than thou, the fact that she's calling Victoria out as if somehow she hasn't had this weird chip on her shoulder even before she met the lady, as if she isn't also equally if not more angry, is pretty hypocritical, wouldn't you say?
There's no reason to be angry. Even if you don't like something I say, there's no reason.
It may not be about you.
I'm just stressed about my baby.
No, I'm just making, that's why I asked you. I said, are
and
you
I've
angry?
explained to you, I'm not
No,
angry.
she's not.
Victoria's husband tries to calm the situation down. He tells Renee that Victoria isn't angry. He says to her that everyone's just excited about her being here. But as he tries to open up his heart to Renee, as he tries to diffuse the situation and make her feel comfortable in their space, she rudely bites back again.
We have one big family. You are part of the family. Whatever it is that is bugging your heart, bugging your emotion now.
Nothing bugs me anymore. When I don't get along with people, I move on.
She may not act like it, right? But this is a grown-ass woman with 2 children. Like, the way that she says nothing bugs me while she's obviously pissed off is so immature. It's what you'd expect from a child. And the way that she says, when I don't get along with people, I move on. That is in direct conflict with the way that Chidi and his family live their lives. They're one big family. They're the kind of family that stick together through thick and thin. again. Unlike Renee, they don't just drop people and move on. And while, of course, Chidi hasn't been able to see everything, he doesn't know for sure whether or not his sister has or hasn't been giving Renee dirty looks. He does know Renee well enough to have his suspicions about what's really happening.
My sister is never an angry person. Renee is deeply insecure and she always feels everyone is up against her.
Chidi is clearly so close to his family that I highly doubt he's going to let someone like Renee tear them apart. Now, he reveals to the camera crew that he's alarmed by Renee's tone with his sister. And in fact, things get so uncomfortable that Victoria excuses herself from the table. She's not prepared to sit around and put up with this. And when we join them the next day, it seems like Renee has been reflecting on what's happened. Now, she asks to go outside for a walk alone with Chidi. And it's here that she begins trying to butter him up.
I wanted to apologize because I did raise my voice a little bit, but it was only out of obvious frustration. You know?
The way that Renee says that, right, obvious frustration, as if there's no other side to the story except one where she's the victim, is pretty hard for everyone, including Chidi, to swallow. Now, Chidi tells her that she needs to overcome her differences with Victoria. This apology you're giving me would probably be better served being given to her. But that's not what Renee wants to hear. She just brushes that off. And in fact, she says she and Victoria won't be able to overcome anything. And it's now that Renee proposes an idea to Chidi that's just going to make everything even worse.
So I was just wondering if you would feel comfortable to stay in a hotel room with me.
I wish we can still have more time together at home.
Chidi's face says it all. That is the face of a man who's thinking, what the hell? Is she really trying to make me choose between her and my family? And more to the point, why is she asking this of me when she knows I intend to be celibate? Now, with all of this in mind, it should come as no surprise that Chidi denies her request. And it's at that point that Renee really loses her cool.
I'm just uncomfortable with the situation because I came so freaking far to see my soulmate that I'm supposed to marry, that he wants to marry me so bad. I'm just looking for that little bit of quality time.
Chidi reminds Renee that it's his faith that's stopping him from being alone in a room with her. He doesn't want that temptation. He doesn't want to put himself in that position.
Because I am a man, I have blood running all over me.
But unfortunately, Renee completely misinterprets this. She thinks this is all about her. She thinks that Chidi's scared she won't be able to control herself. When in fact, that isn't the case. Chidi is worried he won't be able to control himself.
No, I don't want to argue, okay?
No,
Look,
we are not arguing.
Shut up, I'm trying to be nice to you. Since you might think that maybe I'm such an animal, I'm gonna jump on you, I'm not gonna touch you in any sexual way.
Chidi does remarkably well to keep his composure. The way that Renee talks down to him, the way she cuts him off and speaks to him with that tone, is more than most people could handle. Now, Chidi hears what Renee's saying, right? He acknowledges that they do need their privacy. But, he reiterates, I'm not prepared to break my vows to God. And Renee hates that. She can't stand the fact that she isn't in control.
And you know what the sad part is you care more about what people think.
No, it's not.
Hey! You care more about the world and what people and your family think.
Sorry, but who the heck does Renee think she is? He might not be able to see her raised, wagging finger, but he can hear her tone. And it says everything that Chidi actually winces when she raises her voice. Now, he tries one last time to explain to her that this is about his religious beliefs, but Renee doesn't care. And in fact, not only does she not care, she actually takes it one step further. She now disrespects his religion.
I'm not gonna come to your beliefs because I'm far beyond your little beliefs. I'm on a different spiritual plane.
I'm above, I'm beyond, I'm better than your little beliefs, Chidi. Gosh, gosh. Can you just imagine a lifetime of Rayne? Boy, this relationship, let me tell you, is not worth it. Rayne has such a condescending attitude. She thinks she's so much better than Chidi. She's come to Nigeria to fix him from those little pesky beliefs that he has. But what Rayne doesn't seem to realise is that her own voice is actually causing the man she claims to love physical distress.
I hate noise. It disturbs my brain. And I am extremely overwhelmed by Rayne right now. The more louder she gets, the more disoriented I become.
Poor Chidi is sitting there completely overwhelmed and disoriented. So what do you think his soulmate, his godly divine connection does? Well, she doesn't even notice. She's looking right at him, but she can't tell how distressing this all is for him. And to make matters worse, Rayne doesn't stop. She just keeps attacking and attacking. And that despite the fact that we actually hear Chidi giving her a desperate apology. He just wants this nightmare to end.
I am sorry.
No, I'm serious.
It hurts me greatly to hear her mean words, her aggression, her anger. But I still love Rayne. I don't want to lose her.
Sorry, but there's no other way to put this. Rayne is a bully. She might say that she loves the fact that Chidi's blind because it means she doesn't have to worry about her insecurities. But I think there's actually more to it than that. I think she loves the fact that it gives her power over him. This is a woman who wants to dominate him, wants to control him. She wants to tear him away from his family. She wants him to be entirely reliant on her. She wants to dictate the way that he thinks, and she expects him to do as he's told. And when he doesn't, Rayne just can't handle it.